What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of The Travel Guy. I am Out84, the Travel Guy here on the Travel Guy channel here for the Wicked Explorers, twexplorers.com. You can find all these videos and all our short videos that we take all around the traveling since we basically started the site back in 2017. So here we are. It is Super Bowl weekend. Now, of course, my team, the Patriots, is not in the Super Bowl this year, unfortunately. They haven't been in the Super Bowl since we and Sue gone to the Super Bowl back in 2019, I guess it was the 2018 season, when we seen the Patriots beat the Los Angeles Rams. So I wanted to talk a little today about going to the Super Bowl, what the Super Bowl is like. Okay, so as you can see, I've been to two Super Bowls. I went to the Super Bowl in 2019 rather, for the 2018 season, where the Patriots played the Rams and won, and that was in Atlanta. And I went to the Super Bowl in 2012, which was the 2011 season, where the Patriots played the New York Giants for the second time, and that was in Indianapolis, Indiana. And both times were very similar to what I expected when I got there. But the cities, although different, kind of follow the same protocol, which leads me to believe that there's kind of a way to do the Super Bowl that is kind of cookie cutter, and every city adds their own flair and everything like that. So both times had gone, it was great. Well, I'd gone the first time with one of my friends. The second time I'd gone with Sue, and from what I remember from the first time, a lot reflected on the second time. And the one thing you got to really do is you really got to plan ahead for the Super Bowl if you really want to make this cost effectively. Um, Obviously, the main price you're going to pay is the ticket prices. The ticket prices, I think, I'm going up to $3,500 for this game on Sunday in New Orleans, and a lot of that you can't avoid, but there's ways to kind of get around it. So you're going to avoid prices like, for example, your airline tickets. You can avoid high prices in your hotel. You can do all this by kind of being proactive and being smart about it. And I have to admit, we got lucky both times we went to the Super Bowl. But I had to do some work. It wasn't like tickets and arrangements just fell in my lap. There was a lot of work involved prior to doing it, and I kind of want to talk to you guys about doing it. So if you guys have an opportunity to do it, I gotta tell you, if you're a football fan and you have one opportunity in your life to see your team in the Super Bowl, you have to do it. If it's the best. I have to say, of all the sporting events I've been to, I've been to NBA finals, NHL finals, obviously Super Bowls, World Series, and everything like that. The idea, the number one, is the Super Bowl because it's one game. That's it. There's no other. There's nothing else. It's no coming back. You're gonna win or you're gonna lose that day, and that's all it is. And it's a whole process going into the big game as well. The World Series was great for me because I got to see the Red Sox play in the World Series in 2007, 13, and 2018. So I got to see him three. I got three World Series games I got to see, which were great. But the World Super Bowl was definitely the top. And seeing your team win the Super Bowl is a whole nother level. Seeing your team lose the Super Bowl hurts, but I feel I've seen the Super Bowl, the Patriots lose the Super Bowl three times in my life, four times technically, and no more than that, five times. They lost them. I was two when they lost to the Bears. I was middle school when they lost to the Packers. Seen them lose to the Giants twice, once live, and seen them lose to the Eagles. But seeing them lose while you're there doesn't hurt as bad, and I'll tell you why. The reason is because it's the whole weekend. It's a trip you're on and an adventure together. It's almost like going on a game road trip, which we do a lot of game road trips over the years. Um, when you're home, you're kind of alone with your own thoughts and people at your house, and it's like, ugh, it's just that pit in your stomach. At least you're on. At least when you lose and you're at the place, you're still on vacation. You just got to deal with people celebrating, and I'll tell you a story about how it ended up working for us when the Patriots lost the first time. So let me start with when the Patriots lost. I'll tell you that Super Bowl story first, and um, everything I did wrong on this one, I made sure I did right on the second one. So the first one, 2000, my goal was just basically go to a Super Bowl. I've seen the Red Sox in the World Series. I've seen the we call it the Bruins in the Stanley Cup, and I had seen the um the Celtics in the NBA Finals. I just needed to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So my first plan was to do it in 2007 during the perfect season. Now I had zero money at this point. I was still in college. I was bartending on the side, and I was working like five part-time jobs at the time. So when I attempted to do that one, that was in Phoenix. I thought about it too late. I didn't put enough time and research into it. And basically, 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, right when they were said they're going to go into the Super Bowl, I was like, all right, what do I do? So obviously, if I'm trying to find a flight to Boston to Phoenix, um, once your team makes the Super Bowl, those prices are going to go up. And if you can't drive there, which Phoenix is even impossible to drive, they're so far away, it's just not going to make any sense. So that's another thing you want to think about is planning ahead of time. And we did this for the Atlanta Super Bowl, and it worked out good. And I tried to do it for that 2007 Super Bowl and it didn't work. It was just way too expensive to fly. It was like $3,000 to fly out to Phoenix from Boston, which you can get flights usually sometimes for like $300 sometimes round trip. Another thing is a hotel. A lot of these cities, um, you need an X amount of hotel rooms in order in the metropolitan area to be able to host a Super Bowl. I believe it's kind of like the Olympics and stuff like that. But Phoenix was such a spread out city. There were hotels, all over the place, and they sell out really, really quickly. In fact, people stop, getting the hotels ahead of time, when the teams are in the playoffs. Or you could do what me and Sue did, get them in the off season, which we did in Atlanta, which I'll tell you about that when we get to everything we did right on that one, everything we did right on the other one. Um, so you have that situation set up. A city knows they're going to have a Super Bowl, obviously years in advance. So even if you go and book your hotel room prior to the Super Bowl, um, is the chances that it's still going to be expensive. So what you got to do is like, for example, when I go into the Marriott website, you can book ahead of time, your hotel room. Well, you usually get about 12 to 18 months situation where you can do it. So you set the date on your calendar, like, on say May 1st is the first day I can book for the Super Bowl for next year. You know, just giving a number out there. You will on May 1st, I'll go online and immediately go there and try to book the room as fast as possible. Now they're gonna jack that room price up. It's gonna be very expensive, but at least you have your room reserved and you have some options too if you have points and free room awards and stuff like that. You can work that around there and actually get a deal on it. So the Phoenix one, everything was falling in place. I was gonna get a U-Haul. I almost ended up getting a U-Haul truck, and I was gonna sleep in the back of a U-Haul truck for the 3 days I was gonna be out there. And I still had no idea how I was gonna get a ticket. And at the time, the tickets weren't that expensive on the aftermarket. They were about $1,000. And something to think about too is ticket prices will be expensive, but if the closer you get to the Super Bowl itself, the cheaper the ticket will get. Just just if you just need to get in the door, want to get in the door, and you say you buy yourself, maybe that's a avenue that you look at. So that Super Bowl comes and goes. It was impossible to go. They lost anyways. Thank God I wasn't there. It really broke my heart. So now when the Patriots made the Super Bowl, the next time was 2012 or yeah, 2012, 2011 season, and I had said to myself, if they go to the Super Bowl, then I am going to go to the Super Bowl. Um, Regardless, I was going to do everything in my power. So I had went ahead and booked a hotel. I tried to book. I said this is way. It was way too late on this. When the Patriots made it to the playoffs, into the divisional round, I had booked went to Marriott and I booked a hotel room. The closest hotel I could find that was anywhere close to being reasonably priced was in Louisville, Kentucky, which was approximately about 2 hours away from Indianapolis, give or take. Okay, so my goal was I just stay in Indy. Um, I got to figure out a way to get to Indianapolis for the game and then come back that night. So, not knowing about festivities or, fan fest or anything that leads up to the Super Bowl. And that's the whole week going to the Super Bowl, the stuff going on in the city. Especially the Friday and Saturday before the Super Bowl, there's really a lot of stuff going on. So if you are going to go, I would plan to at least get there by Saturday of the Super Bowl, if not by Friday, because the Fan Fest is something cool you want to check out. And there's also parties and events and stuff going around the city all week long that if you have an opportunity to go to, you should take advantage of. So I'll tell you before planning everything, if you're going to the Super Bowl, plan on getting there Friday and stay until Monday because there's no way in hell you're going to fly out Sunday night because usually flights are way too late. You never know how long the game's going to take. You never know the situation getting out of the stadium and all that stuff. So plan Friday morning flight, fly home Monday. That's the best way I can say it. And if you can get a midday flight on Monday, you might want to do that because you might be a little banged up from the night before. But just my suggestion right there. So right there, overall, do that. So for The Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl I went to against the Giants, the Patriots were in it. So I was like, all right. So I had my hotel already set up, and I was doing research about transportation to and far from Indianapolis to Louisville and back and forth. And I had set my mock on a Greyhound bus. They had a Greyhound bus that I could take from Indianapolis to, I mean, from Louisville to Indianapolis. And the next Greyhound bus that was going to go was actually going to be like 5 o'clock in the morning the next day after the Super Bowl. So my plan was just to hang around the city all day and then jump on the first available Greyhound bus back to Louisville. Now I wasn't flying at all. Actually, I was planning on driving to the Super Bowl. So my goal was to leave Friday like afternoon and drive to Louisville, which would have been approximately I think it's about a 12-hour drive, 10-hour drive, give or take. And I was going to get to Louisville Friday night, and then Saturday, I thought about taking the Greyhound bus that day, but I figured it's going to be tough, so maybe Saturday night into Sunday morning. It was going to be a lot of not sleeping and doing stuff that I wasn't, that's going to be crazy, right? A lot of money spent too. So I had all this planned, and then I obviously had to get the ticket. So I was going to go regardless, and I was going to figure out how to get a ticket once I got there. Now, luckily enough, I was dating someone at the time whose father had connections with people who had season tickets with the Patriots, had first dibs on the tickets, and got them. So that first Super Bowl, I got the tickets for it's this one right here, $800 a piece face value. Now these by far not good seats at all. These are like second to last row up in the stadium. But lucky enough, Indy's an enclosed stadium, so your top row isn't as high as it is in some of these outdoor stadiums. But it was all right. I got tickets, but I had to buy two of them, so that was the catch. So now $1,600 for two tickets. You couldn't just buy one, and I go, that's fine. So the goal was to bring a friend with me, and obviously $800 is a lot of money to come up with for a ticket. Have them just put in a payment plan with me over. I was going to just put it on my credit card, and they could just pay me back. Now the problem is I couldn't pay for the tickets on the credit card. I had to pay cash. So we had to move some funds around and savings accounts and everything like that to pay my ex's father the money to give to his boss to basically pay for the tickets. So that's what I did. So I scrounged up $800, and I'm like, all right, they were gonna loan me the other $800 to pay him back, which I was planning on doing. Once whoever I was gonna take bring me to the game. I asked all my friends. No one wanted to do it. I couldn't believe I couldn't find a person that would want to go to the Super Bowl. And the price that they would have had to pay would have been the cost of gas, split the hotel room, their Greyhound ticket up, and then price of the game. So it was going to be approximately, I think I was giving them the number of like $1,200 that they would have to pay to go to the Super Bowl, which is $1,200 to go to the game and stay, not in the city, but just to have a night stay and to get there and to from where you live. It was a great deal. $1,200. If someone says $1,200 to go to the Super Bowl, includes a ticket, a hotel room, and your transportation, I would take it, hands down. It's a good deal. Couldn't find anyone to do it. So I was working with this guy at this time at the old sneaker store I used to work with years ago, and he went to every single Super Bowl prior to this for the Patriots. So I mentioned to him, I go, hey, listen, I got a ticket to the Super Bowl, face value, because all the times they had gone, they had to buy tickets, aftermarket and stuff like that and paid outrageous prices. But I said to him, I go, I got face value ticket. Here's my game plan. Come along with me. We'll figure it out. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. So my friend Tom was like, yeah, let's do this. So I told him the plan, and we worked everything out. And then like 2 days before the Super Bowl, he goes, hey, dude, he's like, do you mind flying? I go, I would love to fly, except I couldn't find anything that's affordable or anything that gets us close to Indianapolis. He goes, no, dude. He's like, his dad worked in the medical field, and he would fly a lot for work and stay at hotels. He had so many points saved up for flights and hotels and rental cars and stuff like this. He goes, oh, my dad says he'll buy a ticket. He'll use his points to get the tickets. That way we don't have to drive. I go, you serious? He's like, yeah. No, awesome. I mean, I couldn't say much. I was so thankful for that. I was like, that is great. I was like, thank you so much. I go, I'll pay him back. How much? He's like, no, he's all on point. So he's like, the closest we can get to is like, I think it was like Dayton, Ohio, which is like right on the western border of Ohio, which is about an hour and a half drive, maybe a little less, to Indianapolis. And I go, that's fine. He's like, I got us tickets for Friday night. We're flying out. He's like, we're probably not going to get into our hotel until like, 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And he goes, but my uncle's going out there with my cousin, and they're staying out there too. And he could drive us back and forth into the city, so I don't have to worry about drinking driving. So I mean, everything started working out really good. And I go, this is great. I go, this is awesome. So he said we got us a hotel now because we booked the hotel 2 weeks out, and Indianapolis didn't have a lot of hotels at the time. We were kind of stuck staying like 45 minutes south of the city, and it was like a Motel 6, and it was in the middle of nowhere. And I forget the name of the town it was in, but it was like it was literally like a half hour, 45 minutes south of the city. So, but his uncle and cousin was staying there too, and his brother was going as well. So there's like five of us all together. So those three didn't have tickets. Me and him had tickets. So we get to the hotel. First we have to we took off Friday night. I was leaving work. I barely made it to the airport. I had to go 15 miles, but 15 miles in Boston, going from the South Shore to the airport at rush hour, could take 2 hours, and it took me almost 2 hours. I remember just going into the economy lot at the airport, throwing my car in there, grabbing my bag, and running my ass off to the terminal. Luckily, there was a slow travel day. There was a lot of TSA was really quick. I went right in and out, and I had about an hour and a half before the flight board. So we had to fly from Boston to Baltimore, and then connect on a flight in Baltimore and go Baltimore to Dayton. Okay, perfect. So everything's falling in place. We had a hell of a time flying. We had a good time. We had some drinks. We stopped at a gas station when we got the rental car. It was like 12 o'clock at night at this point. Grabbed a few beers. We had an hour drive to the hotel. We got to the hotel, just chilled, had some drinks, and then pretty much figured out what we're going to do the next day. We get to the hotel. It was a really rugged hotel. I'm not going to bash. It was a free hotel. I can't complain. For a free hotel, it was better than nothing. I mean, I was planning on living in a U-Haul truck first time we were going to a Super Bowl. So we get to the hotel, and the room was a little dirty. They got us another room. Everything worked out. I figured I would just have enough drinks that I would just pass out. It doesn't really matter to me. Or I'll sleep in the car because it happened to be seasonably warm in Indianapolis. It was like 50s all weekend, so you could wear a sweatshirt over like a jersey and a sweatshirt with a jersey over it, and be nice and warm with jeans and a winter hat. It was great. It was perfect weather. So we went to the Fan Fest on Saturday. That was the goal, and then we are going to they had the rally for the local radio station that hosts the Patriots, which is 98.5. So we went there to go hang out with all the other Patriots fans over there. We did the Fan Fest, which was awesome. You got to see some cool stuff, and all that jazz. So that was great by itself. And then and the city of Indianapolis was a great host. They shut down like the perimeter of the inner city around the stadium. Now, if you haven't been to Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium is right in downtown, and pretty much a perimeter around the outside of the city. They got rid of the open container law, and so you could literally just go to restaurants and buy to-go drinks, and just walk down the street like you're in Vegas and drinking them, and it was cool. No one bothered anything. It was so peaceful. People were starting nightclubs in parking lots with tents and stuff, and you could go in there, and there was DJs. Now, we did all that, and then we drove home or back to the hotel Saturday night, and then Sunday morning, bright and early, we got up and we headed into the city, and we went for breakfast. We had some drinks. It was a kind of a thing. We just wanted to get in the city, and all day we had there was just great. Now, unfortunately, as you know, the outcome, the Patriots lost that Super Bowl. Tom had the ball, like a minute left to drive down. There was a miracle catch by, I think it was Mario Manningham. It was like something similar to the first Super Bowl the Pats played the Giants. And we lost, and we decided we were going to go to a gentleman's club afterwards we left the game like 5 minutes before it was less than, it was like 30 seconds before the game was over, just to get the hell out of there. I didn't want to see the blue confetti falling from the sky and all that stuff, right? And we go to a gentleman's club, and that Super Bowl perhaps was one of the least attended by Patriots fans as well, because the Patriots fans kind of won out. That was their fourth Super Bowl in 10 years, and people have already gone who wanted to go. So, actually, it was their fifth Super Bowl in 10 years. So, we kind of were like the minority there, in fact. So we get into the club, and all of a sudden we're sitting at this table, and lady brings over some drinks and shots for us, and we go, oh, we didn't know what he said. I think he's much for something else. He's like, no, the guy in the back ordered him for you. He says he's sorry for your loss. And we turned over, and it was no other than 50 Cent, and he sent some drinks over to us, which was very nice. So that was the silver lining in of the whole story. The next morning, we drove back to Dayton, and we flew home from there. And that was it. And they lost. And we just had memories, and it was a lot of memories. And it was a great time. It was awesome. And I vowed I would like to have gone one more time, I said after that, and I would love to see him win. And after that time, they had a couple more chances to go to the Super Bowl. They went and beat Seattle, and then that was in I think they were played in Arizona that one, and then the next one was against Atlanta, and they played that one I believe in Houston maybe, and then they played Philly and they lost that one in Minnesota, but playing up in Minnesota. So there was, Seattle, the Atlanta one, and then the Philly one. So three went by after that one I went to, and I had just gotten married. Well, the 2018 season was interesting. So the Patriots did pretty good. We got married that year, um, and we got married in December. And every year when me and Sue met, we said that we would ideally like to see the Patriots play the Saints in the Super Bowl because that's our team is the Saints. And that was our goal. And what we would do is um, basically when we had the first opportunity to buy plane tickets on Southwest, and the reason we use Southwest is because they're fully refundable and they're usually cheaper. You could do this with most airlines. I think you could buy tickets and just have it refundable. It might cost you money, extra money, but Southwest was free cancellations as long as you did it within, before the flight took off, basically. So we went ahead and every year, once we had the opportunity to buy tickets for the Super Bowl, we would buy Southwest tickets from Boston to where the Super Bowl was. So we did this a couple times, and when the Patriots played the Eagles, we had them to Minnesota, and we decided not to go. That one was heartbreaking because the Saints had lost both AFC championships. Well, the Saints had lost the divisional round when they went out to play. I think it was the Eagles, and the Saints were in the NFC championship when against the Rams when the Pats won, and that would hurt a little bit more. And she at first didn't want to go, and I'm like, that's fine. I go, but we could do it for a honeymoon. It'd be fun. It was in Atlanta. Um, and it'll be a quick little trip. She finally turned like the next day. She's like, "Yeah, I want to go to the Super Bowl." So we had bought tickets for Atlanta almost a year prior to the Super Bowl. So it was sometime like in May or April. And we just figured we'd cancel them if we didn't go. Now we had that taken care of. I had gone ahead and got a hotel room outside of the suburbs of Atlanta just in case. It was a little pricey, but coincidentally at the time, my aunt was living about 30 minutes outside the city on a metro line, like close to a metro line. So she had said we could stay for free. We didn't have to pay anything. So we had, now that flight, mind you, we had bought 10 months prior to going to the Super Bowl. Now, this is what you got to do. You got to just go ahead and do it. So if you want to go to the Super Bowl, as soon as you can, go to Southwest, book tickets to I don't know where the next Super Bowl is next year. Miami or something like that, maybe, or Las Vegas. I don't know. San Francisco, I think, actually. Go ahead, book your tickets now. Book them from your city that you live in to that city, and make sure you have a cancellation process because if you think your team's going to make it, your flight is going to be very expensive. There was a guy sitting next to me on the Southwest flight. We paid, and I'm not joking, $150 round trip for that flight from Boston to Atlanta because we bought it 10 months prior. And at that time, the airlines don't know, obviously, who's going to win, who's going to be in the Super Bowl, so they can't jack up the prices that day because it just doesn't make any sense, right? The guy sitting next to me paid $1,200 for his flight. Same flight. He bought it 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and get your flights early. You'll save yourself a significant amount of money there. Your hotel, your flights, buy ahead of time. And your hotels, a lot of them you can cancel too if you decide to go or not to go, right? So now we got a $150 round trip flight and a free hotel stay. So right now we're $300 in the hole to go to the Super Bowl. We haven't got our tickets yet. So that's the next thing. So what we were doing is we just go and check StubHub every day. We'd figure out how we're gonna do it. We know we're gonna be at least be there. Maybe we buy them on the aftermarket. Right before the game starts. The prices will go down. You'll see them drastically. Watch it yourself on Sunday around 5 o'clock. Go to StubHub, check tickets for the Super Bowl, and you'll start seeing that price drop dramatically because people will start to get rid of tickets. Also, single tickets. People that don't show up. People that decide not to go to the game. I know, especially in New Orleans, a lot of people when the Patriots won that first Super Bowl the first win, I should say, back in 2002. I've heard stories of people getting so hammered they didn't even make it to the game that day. So people will be willing to get rid of tickets for short money just so they don't take the loss on it. So if you don't mind getting two single tickets and figuring out a way to sit in the game after the fact, that's also a possibility as well. Now, again, we locked out. My mother had a friend whose husband used to play in the NFL, unbeknownst to us. And and the good thing is to tell people you're doing it too. So people start talking about it. Like we had told everyone we were planning on going to the Super Bowl. So my mother would be telling someone or someone else would be telling someone. So the name was getting out. So when people have a ticket opportunity, you're the first person they think of too. So if you were planning on going, let people know you're going to go. Let them know your plan, and that will inspire possibly people to be like, "Oh crap, I can help you out. I get tickets." So that's what happened to us. This lady has the opportunity to buy tickets every year because her husband was an ex NFL player, so she buys them every year, and she usually just gets rid of them, to people that need them. And that was this one right here. Face value on this ticket was $1,250, which that's the face value price. So you could see over the course of 8 years for a similar seat, the price went up like 400 and something dollars. Okay, $300, right? Fair, it happens. What it is, what it is. And we were looking at tickets prior to that, and it was about $2,700 a ticket. But we figured if we just got married, it'd be a honeymoon. Let's splurge on it, right? She said she sold them to us for face value. She couldn't use them. She didn't want them. I brought her what's that? $2,500 in cash. There you go. Thanks for the tickets. We had our tickets. The final piece of the puzzle was putting together. So we had everything going on. So we planned on going down on Saturday morning, and we're gonna do the fan fest and all that stuff, and then go to the Super Bowl on Sunday and fly home on Monday. That was the game plan. So then I started doing some investigating. So what other perks can I get while you're at the Super Bowl? How can we get into certain places? Can we get some press passes? Can we do some stuff? So prior to the Masso Sports Network that I was running, it was prior called thepacky.com, and it was a sports blog. And what I did was I went to the NFL credentials, the media page, right? Anyone can do this, and you can submit for media passes to get into certain things like Radio Row, to get into the Fan Fest for free, to do certain things that an average person just coming off the street wouldn't be able to do or would be restricted to do. So I submitted a media pass for me and Sue, and my cousin was coming along with us for the Fan Fest, for the three of us to try to get some kind of media privileges to get in. I really wanted to get into the stadium prior to the Super Bowl, like the day before, and be able to walk around for like some of the players and watch some practice stuff. I didn't quite hit that media level, but I was approved for Media Row and free passes into the Fan Fest. So we didn't have to pay to go to the Fan Fest, and we were able to walk into Media Row, which is in the convention center next to where the Fan Fest was. And we got to walk around and see all the, radio stations broadcasting and stuff like that, and kind of hang out over there and check out some cool stuff. And it was great. It was awesome. And I had my gimbal with the light and the microphone, and we did some kind of interviews some people who were down there, talked to some Boston people and everything like that, and all that kind of stuff. So that was cool. So Atlanta did it well as well. They got rid of the open container law. Bars were open. They got rid of last call that night. We were sitting at a bar till almost like 4:30 in the morning after the game won. And so these cities know how to do the Super Bowls very well. Um, Horror stories from my buddy Tom that went to the Super Bowl prior with me. He had gone to the one in Jacksonville, and he said it was an absolute shit show. So New Orleans, this is their 11th Super Bowl this year, so they know how to do it. Las Vegas had it a couple of years ago, or it was last year, I can't remember. But they're obviously it's Las Vegas. They know how to put a big events on, so they know how to do it too. The Miami one, when it's in Miami, is a little difficult because everyone wants to stay at South Beach. For South Beach, people don't realize it's about half hour, 45 minutes from where Dolphin Stadium is. So you got to take that in consideration. At least Indy, you could walk to the venue. Atlanta, if you were staying in the city, you could walk to the venue, or you could just take the train like we did and get into the city. And then the day before, after we went to the Fan Fest, we did the pep rally for the local radio station like we did before, and walked around the city all night, Saturday night. So that's the way to do it. So basically, cut and dry to it. The bread and butter is what you want to do is plan ahead. So if you really want to go, your team potentially could go to the Super Bowl, and you don't know if your team's going to make the Super Bowl. You have a good idea if your team's going to be good enough. But the year the Patriots went in 2001, no one had any clue. So that was kind of a fluke. Even the Giants, the time of the undefeated season, they were an 8-8 team going into the last game of the season. So that was a fluke too. But if this is something you want to do anyways, go ahead and book your ticket. You will probably stop booking your flights probably in a month from now for wherever the Super Bowl is next year, which I believe it is in San Francisco. Just do it. Book it, get it, refundable. And then you will know if your team's going to be able by some point in the season, you realize once your team is out of the playoff race, or once the playoff games are over, you'll have enough time to cancel that ticket. So book your flight now. Do it. Get it over with. Done. And then look for whatever hotel you like to use, or Travelocity and stuff like this, or if you like to use a particular brand that you have points with, go ahead, book your hotel, and make sure you can read the fine print, because some of you can cancel, some you can't. Make sure you're able to cancel. Some allow you to cancel within a couple days. And again, you'll know more than a couple days if you're going to the Super Bowl or not, because you'll have that. Get your hotel booked, get your flight booked. Those are the two hottest things that are going to cost you the most amount of money combined to get to the city for the Super Bowl, just because the prices will get jacked up prior to the game. Just because once the cities know who's going there, the airlines will jack it up, the hotels will jack it up. So, and keep an eye on the hotels. A lot of them have a minimum of a couple days stay too, obviously. If you can't get a hotel in the city proper, start looking for the burbs and start looking for ways to get in and out of the city. Ubers will be expensive because obviously they'll jack those up too. But what I did find was a lot of people travel to Atlanta for the Super Bowl, who are Uber drivers just to make some extra money. So there are more Uber drivers than usual there. So that's something to think, or Lyft or whatever the hell you use, right? Keep that in mind. Now, if you go in the burbs, a lot of cities have public transportation. Look at their public transportation maps and see how you could get from, for example, if you're in the burbs of Boston and you want to stay out there, maybe if you stayed in like Lynn or a city out there, or even Worcester has a commuter rail line, right? At least if you could save money getting into the city, because a lot of these train lines may not rerun it after the game's over, or you might want to hang out in the city after the game's over. If you have to buy and bite the bullet for an Uber, maybe $100, but you don't got to worry about going it both ways, right? So if you can get in the city, at least get into the city, that the price is cut in half. If you and even if you have to pay money to get back to the hotel, when you add it all up, it's still cheaper than if you bought a hotel in the city last minute, right? So look at that. And then the tickets is the pot that's the biggest, that's the toughest pot. So I would say I would start by, um, looking at the secondary market. First, if you're a season ticket holder, you get put into a raffle. It's very tough to get that raffle. If you're a club seat owner, you will get usually ticket priorities to get them if you want them, or you don't want them. That's how I got the first tickets. If you know people that get tickets a lot, do you know someone that played in the NFL? Do you know someone who knows someone who plays in the NFL? Make it known that you want to go to the Super Bowl and you're looking to pay. Just don't overpay for tickets. Don't get ripped off. It's a lot tougher these days. I don't even know if they still even do paper tickets anymore after COVID. I really, really don't know if that's even possible. But I remember holding on to those tickets like it was gold. We had them on a lanyard um, under my shirt, tucked into my pants. So even if I fell out of the lanyard, it would still in my pants like the day of the Super Bowl. And we had them locked up the first night in the hotel in the safe in there. And then we had them at my aunt's house. It was pretty safe, so we didn't have to worry about that. But keep that in mind. Those tickets are like gold. You don't want to lose those things. But now, if digital tickets, it might be a little easy. You don't have to worry about it. It's a little tough to get ripped off. But do keep that in mind when you're looking for tickets and stuff like that. And if you're going by yourself or you're going with a group of guys and you just want to get into the game and you really don't care about sitting each other, because you can find seats. I tell you what, about 25% of people that go to the Super Bowl, actually, it's probably more than that. 50% of the people go to the Super Bowl, I think. This is what, after halftime, they leave because they have all these extra pies to go to. So it's a lot of seats open up. The diehard fans are all sitting in the upper deck. So if that's where you're going to end up, it's where you want to be. You want to be in the lower area. Those are family members. Those are people who, celebrities and stuff like that. And, I've noticed people move and stuff. I know this place gets a lot empty. And if there's a blowout, forget about it. Whatever the other team is, the other team's going to leave anyways. So you'll find a place to sit at some point. So if you're going with a group of guys or a group of girls or a bunch of people just want to get into the stadium, look for single tickets. Leaving up to the Super Bowl. Do not feel pressured to buy tickets ahead of time. The ticket prices will always be there at a certain price. When the two teams are finally announced they're going to the Super Bowl, the price will skyrocket real quick. Don't be nervous. They only do that because they're initially trying to get the impulse buyers who just want to buy the tickets and get them locked in. So you're going to see that. And you're going to see that level up there for about a week going into the Super Bowl. By Monday of Super Bowl, you're going to start seeing that price slow down. Now, I'm telling you, go on right now, go to StubHub, check the price of the tickets, check tomorrow, and then check Sunday. That price will go down. It's very, very, very rare the price goes up. And the reason for this is because people put crazy amount of money for tickets, and if they don't get it, they're not going to keep that price at that ticket. They want to make their money. So they're going to bring that ticket price down a little bit as it goes. And that happens with any event, not just a Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals, stuff like that. And you will get your best deal, I'm telling you, prior to the Super Bowl, a couple hours before that. As long as you just look at the window of lockout week, the last possible minute you can buy tickets for any website you use. And even if you do that, you should be all right. You save some money. So I would say consider yourself about It's going to cost about $3,000 probably to go to the Super Bowl, at minimum, including your hotel and airfare and stuff like that if you do it early enough. But it's going to cost between $3,000 to $5,000. So keep that in mind if you really want to go to the Super Bowl. It's an expensive thing. You can luck out with like I said, hotel points. Use those. Get your early flight put in. Knowing someone has tickets. Um, you know, all these things, and go into like forums and make friends with people, and you just got to do a lot of like talking and stuff like that. You could you sure enough. I like I said, I went twice and I didn't pay more than face value, and I just kind of fell ass backwards in it. So something to think about when you're doing this. Um, but other than that, enjoy yourself, have a good time. Super Bowl Sunday is this Sunday. I am going. I hate to do it, but I'm going for the Eagles. Ugh. It's better of two evils. If both teams could lose, that'd be bad idea. But yes, I'm going for the Eagles, and I hope they can win. I don't want to see the Chiefs three-peat because the Patriots never did that, and I'm feeling a little butthurt about that. So thank you guys for watching The Travel Guy. I'm out 84. Feel free to leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys did if you went to the Super Bowl, if you're planning on going to the Super Bowl, or if you want to go to the Super Bowl and you have some questions, I'll be more than happy to help you. So you can shoot me an email at arty@arty84.com. That's ARTY@ARTY.com. Nice and easy. And I can probably help you out. If you have any questions for either this year or years prior, I could probably set you up with some stuff. I love helping people travel. We do that on the side. We're travel consultants as well. If you have any questions about traveling as well, or places you want to go, or if you've seen any of our videos, we have, I think we're like 500 videos of places we've gone over the last like 7 years. Feel free to comment on those or send me an email, and I'll tell you some ins and outs about things, what to do, what not to do, places to eat, places not to eat, and stuff like that. So I love to help. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Thank you for watching this episode of The Travel Guy, and I'll see you guys soon. There you go. Bye.